Yo, what is up? Today we are looking at the Objekt 260. This is the final reward tank from the first campaign. Now this tank has recently been buffed and we're going to talk about it a bit about it today. And today we are going to ride with Fumetsu no Kokoro, also known as Serval. If you guys know him, he is the commander for the Myth clan. And here's what's special about this tank. This tank has standard shells as APCR. That means you have 1259 meters per second shell velocity, which means he can do stuff like this. Wait there, boom, and he hits those shots like it was nothing. And that's what this tank is capable of. Now, initially, when this tank came out as a reward tank, it was all the buzz. Everybody rushed to try and get this tank. You try to go up the line as quickly as possible to get this tank, and he shoots the 3/4 of the T10 there with APCR and realizes that he can't go through, so he switches to the heats, and he's probably going to try this again. He's also got to watch out for that Type 5 over there while he attempts to snipe down this T10. While he's not paying attention, get the 3/4 or turret ring, whichever it is, goes through like butter, no problem. Well, anyway, I was talking about this tank. Everybody was going for this tank because back then the fast heavy tank that was in rotation was the 113. Now the 113 was the only tank that was similar to this one. This tank was a little bit more superior to the IS-7 and the 113, so this tank was really popular for the better players to grind and try to get it, because this tank was really good, especially for clan wars. If you had it, you had a little bit of an advantage because it was just slightly better than the 113. He's missed that cupola, but he's gonna try again, and he's back to APCR shells. He thinks he can hit that shot, but he's taken a hit from that T10 on probably the lower plate. He's gonna go for one of these cupolas. He's missed that left cupola, so he's gonna try again. And he's setting himself for a mini side scrape and a cupola shot here, so he's gonna pre-aim. And this is the secret of trying to shoot accurately. Pick a spot and wait for the tank to drive there and then click. He does it well, does it like a pro. APCR, no problem. Now he switched back to the heat shells, expecting the Type 5 to poke him soon, and poke he does. He snapshots but hits the building instead. Now, as I was saying, this 260 back then was one of the go-to tanks. You wanted to get this tank as quickly as possible, and everybody rushed to get it, including me, until the 5A showed up, the Chinese 5A tier 10 tank, which basically made this tank a non-starter. And that's because the 5A could do everything this tank can do and do it better. And so less reason for people to grind this tank, because those missions, although they were not exactly difficult, but they were a pain in the butt. You had to spend a lot of time doing those missions just to get a mediocre, or oh my goodness, he did not expect that Jaegeru Jack Panzer E100 to be there. He thought he was just only going to shoot that Type 5, but this is a game changer. This basically turns him into a one-shotter, which means he has to be super conservative gameplay from now onwards. This isn't a conservative tank, this is an aggressive tank. But being a one-shotter now means he needs to be really careful right now. And as I was saying, once the Chinese 5A showed up on the live server, there was no need to get this tank anymore. You can grind your way up to the 5A, and it will do better than this tank. And after the 5A came the 277, which made this tank basically obsolete. Why would you need to to go through so much pain and hardship to get a tank that's not even as good as a 5A or a 277, right? And that's what happened to this tank. This tank was forgotten, and even I stopped grinding because after the T55A, there was no point because the 5A showed up and the 277 showed up. There was no need to get this tank. This tank had nothing special. But recently on the 1.3 update, this tank has been buffed. Now it is viable again. Although it is, I wouldn't say it's better than a 5A, and I wouldn't say it's better than a 277, but it is just as good. So if you're kind of like very active in clan wars, you're gonna get your tanks locked, right? During clan wars, if you got your 5A locked for 36 hours, if you got your 277 locked for 36 hours, you still have an option of playing the 260 as a replacement for the 277 or a 5A, which is why this tank is becoming viable again. A lot of people are getting back onto the campaign 1 grind to try and get this tank. Now me myself, I also want this tank, but I'm not sweating about it. I'm not trying to speed grind to get this tank. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. In my opinion, I don't think any tank is worth the trouble to go through those missions. Those missions, a lot of them are ridiculous. You need to do them multiple times, spend too much time and too much headache just for a pixel tank. No, not worth it in my book. Because also one of the reasons why it's not worth it in my book is because I have almost 40 tier 10 tanks. I have almost all the clan war reward tanks. I have almost every tank that I want. Actually, I do have every tank that I want already. There's no reason for me to get this tank. It would be an added bonus if I had this tank. If I had the Chinese 5A locked in my garage and I couldn't play it for 36 hours. If I had the 277 locked at the same time. If I had the IS-7 locked in the same time and I had no other option, no other tank to play, then yes, this tank would come in handy for clan wars. But other than that, I don't really need this tank. APCR shells onto the side of the STRV. Now he's switched to the HE shells. Whoa, Serval is really pro at switching ammo. He likes doing that. I need to spend more time actually thinking about what ammo I use as well, because I tend to not pay much attention to what ammo I'm using. I sometimes start off with the standard shells, and once I face something with armor and I switch to the premium shells, I tend to forget to switch back to the APCR shells and be a little bit more frugal with my shell expenditure. You know what I mean? Save some credits, use the standard shells. But I need to train myself and do that more often, because in the long run you're gonna save a lot of credits when you shoot the standard shells. Of course, I have 50 million in my bank account, so I don't really think about credits. But you should if you want to be a little bit more efficient in the way you play this game, just for the longevity of your enjoyment, I guess. This tank, 0.32 dispersion, 260 penetration, 9 seconds of reload time. And if you're running food and rammer and BIA crew, of course, 340 penetration on those heat shells. Of course, those heat shells means you only have 900 meters per second shell velocity. 900 meters per second shell velocity isn't bad at all. But of course, the strength of this tank is these standard APCR shells. They're very useful. if you use them in clan wars, a lot of times people pick these out on maps like Westfield and maps where you can catch your enemy out in the open at ranges of like 400, 500 meters where your light tanks are spotting for you. You use these APCR shells to shoot them on the side, you will almost never miss. And that is why there is a little bit of an advantage when you're using the 260 on Clan Wars. Oh, very lucky to bounce that Yak Panther there. He would have been deleted. You do need one of these lucky bounces to help you win these kind of games. Again, bounced it again. Very reliable armor. I guess Fumetsu here trusts his armor, and he's putting his armor right to the test there. But I don't think he should be pushing his luck too much here, because he is a one-shotter and looks like he's gonna hunt him down. Is that tank destroyer coming for him? But I don't think he is, because he is caught out with his pants down in the open. And thankfully, a little bit of luck there, that T-54 lightweight manages to snipe him down and saves his behind. A good amount of damage being done by Fumetsu at the moment. He's already up to 4,000, 5,000 damage. And he's going to make his way down the Siegfried line, down the spine of the map, and hopefully try to snipe this heavy tank in the side, because he's going to create some crossfire here. And any experienced player will know that this is the best opportunity for you to get a win for your team. When you're creating some kind of crossfire, your teammates can go forward when he looks at you. When he looks at them, you can shoot him in the sides. He tried to snipe the cupola there, but it didn't work, and he's gonna try it again once the Type 5 is not looking at him, and he does exactly that. He doesn't need to shoot his cupola. In fact, he'll just shoot his the side of his turret, and before he can pull the trigger onto the cupola, his teammate finishes him off. There's another side of the turret shot there on another Type 5. Easy peasy. That was a Type 4 actually, and that Type 5 was the last shot there. In any case, this game almost in the bag now. They were down by HP and down by tanks early on in the game, and the experience of a good player, how to conserve his XP, even though he took a big hit there from the Jagdpanzer E100, he managed to keep himself alive long enough to the end of the game. There you go, bounced another 750 there. That T-30 should have took his time to shoot the lower plate of the 260. He would have definitely penned him and killed him off, but he finishes off the game with a huge win, an ace tanker, high caliber Confederate, and well done. Great job there for him. He finishes off the game with an ace tanker. Oh, amazing game there for him. Almost 22,000 in credits. Normally you don't get any kind of positive credits there, but because he's got almost 8,000 damage there, that's because he's and that's why he's positive in the credits. These kind of reward tanks, they don't normally land you any kind of credit bonuses. They only give you experience, the reward tank experience or the premium tank experience that you get for your crews. But in terms of credits, you normally don't get any kind of positive credits. It's just like a regular tier 10 tank, and it drains your credits a lot, to be honest with you. Hope you enjoyed that video and a look at that 260, and you decide whether you are going to grind this tank out or not. See you on the next video. Thanks for watching, man. Bye bye.